I'm Dr. Dave Janda. Welcome back to our ongoing Operation Freedom Health and Wellness series with the top naturopathic physician, not just in our country, but I believe the world, Dr. Peter Glidden. This is the only platform where you have an allopathic physician, an MD, me, a retired orthopedic surgeon that had 32 years, if you will, in the barrel on the front line of healthcare delivery, and a naturopathic physician, Dr. Peter Glidden, who's had, 34 years, Pete?
Time flies.
34 years on the front line of healthcare delivery. You see, big pharma, big medicine, big insurance, and big government, they don't want this kind of conversation to occur. They want Pete and I to be doing this, MD versus ND. Because if we're doing this, then we're not talking and giving you information that empowers you and keeps you out of the hospital, keeps you out of the doctor's office, keeps you out of big pharma's orbit, and out of the big government medical manipulation market. The presentations Pete and I have done now for 4 years are not duplicated anywhere in the internet. Anywhere. And the reason is because every time Pete and I do one of these, we get a lot of grief for doing it. Not from you, the public, the empowered public, but from the syndicate, the cult, the medical industrial complex. Because they see us talking and providing you information that empowers you as a problem for their bottom line. Because you don't use big pharma's products or go to the doctor, go to the hospital. Why? Because guess what? Health and wellness. Today, Pete and I are going to delve into omega-3s and how they are so important for your overall health. It's my honor to welcome back. Oh, by the way, Dr. Glidden, in addition to being a phenomenal practicing, there you go. Whoop, he's going to rip his shirt again with his bicep. A practicing naturopathic physician. He is also a phenomenal researcher and fantastic author. His 2 books should be the cornerstone of your medical library. They are of our families. Everybody is sick and I know why. An attempt to cure with holistic medicine. They're available on his website, Dr. Glidden, Glidden, drglidden.com. The information we're going to discuss today is also available on OperationFreedomHealth.com, as are the products. There's no sense talking about this and not having the products available for you to utilize and benefit. Full disclosure, purchase of the products on OperationFreedomHealth.com does support this platform, so we continue doing these presentations. It's my honor to welcome back Dr. Peter Glidden. Peter, welcome back.
Dave, it's always a pleasure. We're talking about omega-3s today, which is a really important subject and an easy subject to talk about. Before we jump into that boat, what's going on with Twitter?
Oh, I am still suspended. Interesting. I recently did an interview with someone we know, Dr. Peter McCullough, and he posted a part of the interview and then put a vote up and said, should Dr. Dave Janda be allowed to come back on Twitter because he was kicked off of Twitter on January 8th, 2021. I can't say why on this particular platform or else we'll get thrown off here, but it involved this and it involved what had happened in November of 2020, the linkage, if you will. And thousands of people voted. Surprised even me that 99.4% of people voted, let Dr. Dave come back. Well, guess what, Pete?
You're still off. Did Twitter ever tell you what you did wrong?
No, and that's part of their terms of service, right? Their terms of service is if we're going to kick you off, we got to tell you why. It's now, 2.5 years? They still have not told me why.
Unbelievable.
Well, yeah. So this whole thing about Elon Musk being so, embracing, freedom of speech. Well, our buddies in Texas have a saying, all hat, no cattle. Those are people that kind of talk the talk but don't walk the walk. Right. I put Elon Musk in that category, frankly, at this point.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah. So, yes. And Pete, and so who does that really hurt when you suspend people that have a knowledge base and an information base and a track record of providing information to help people? It actually hurts the very people that are still on Twitter looking for information.
100%.
Right? I mean, short term, okay, yeah, fine. I can't get my word out, and that's why OperationFreedomHealth.com is so important. That's why DrGlidden.com is so important. That's why DaveJanda.com is so important, right? Because those three platforms are all uncensored. The cult, although they want to, they're set up where they can't get to the content. But the people can to benefit from it.
Right. Well, let's talk about omega-3s.
Let's do it.
So, omega-3 is an essential fatty acid, as is omega-6. And omega-6 is important to help the body grow. So omega-6 is necessary when you're a child, and then you're a teenager, and your body is growing. Omega-6 is very important in order to facilitate the growth of the human body. After, about 20, 21 years of age, it's no longer necessary to supplement with omega-6 because if you're eating a standard American diet, the food that you're eating is high in omega-6, and so those boxes are marked and you don't have to worry about that. However, omega-3 you do need to worry about. You do need to supplement with it because unless you're eating a salmon a day or 3 or 4 mackerel a day.
By the way, I think I see them floating behind you in the.
I think you do, right? The seals are trying to get them.
Whoa, Nantucket, leave that alone.
So you need to supplement with omega-3 fatty acids, which contain two very interesting substances, one called EPA, the other called DHA, which is fancy schmancy medical talk for icosapentaenoic acid and docahexaenoic acid, which are just biochemical terms for these particular molecules. So why is this important? Well, here's why. Because they've been proven to lower triglycerides in the blood. So if you have elevated triglycerides, which is not the best thing in the world to have. Now, my reference ranges for elevated triglycerides are very different than conventional medical doctors' reference ranges for triglycerides, and mine are correct and theirs are not. But nonetheless, they can get too high, and fish oil supplements have been proven to lower them. So much so that the pharmaceutical industry makes fish oil supplements as drugs and sells them because they know that they work. Now, it's right. I think it's a twist of fate that benefits us to some degree that the sale of a nutritional supplement of EPA and DHA is still allowed because the pharmaceutical industry hasn't gotten their hooks in there yet. But you know what they are doing, which we should probably talk about on another episode, is they're behind the scenes buying up nutritional supplement companies all around the world. Right? That's a whole nother story. So other things that omega-3s are effective for, open a blocked or narrow blood vessel, help with involuntary weight loss in people who are very ill. That's called a wasting syndrome. Kidney damage from a drug called cyclosporine. Menstrual cramps, heart failure, abnormal levels of blood fats in people with HIV, which we know is a BS diagnosis, by the way. High blood pressure, a condition that slowly leads to kidney disease, is called IgA nephropathy. Buildup of fat in the liver of people who don't drink alcohol, and rheumatoid arthritis, to name a few. And by the way, these, if we actually had a free medical market and research was objective and scientific and not led with a carrot and stick by a well-heeled interest in the pharmaceutical industry, if that were not the case, if we actually had an academically open, scientifically just medical society, there would be so much research done on all of the essential nutrients, including omega-3s. It would be a completely different world. Because as far as I am concerned, after 35 years of clinical work, I'm here to tell you that all chronic disease is directly or indirectly related to deficiencies in nutrients.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get illnesses because you have a bad gene, or because you're getting older, or because of chemtrails, which are a very real thing, by the way. Most of the time, your body starts to break down simply because it's run out of the stuff it needs to keep itself healthy. I mean, that's same thing happens to your car.
Yeah.
Right? You run out of transmission fluid,
Boom.
no good.
Yeah.
My car ran out of power steering fluid once, and I was like, oh my God, I was lucky I could turn the wheel enough to pull over to the side of the road. It was unbelievably hard I couldn't believe it. Mm-hmm. So the human body's the same. You need to fill your nutritional tank up on a regular basis, because the nutrients that you need are not in the food in the amounts that you need them. And they're getting less and less and less and less and less and less and less in direct proportion to the increase and rise of chronic disease. So in a perfect world, everybody would be educated about this, and everybody would be supplementing, and medical insurance would pay for this.
Mm-hmm.
You would think that insurance companies would pay for this, because when people supplement and follow the naturopathic precepts and the naturopathic standards of care, they don't get sick.
Right.
Or if they do get sick, they're sick a little bit instead of a lot of it.
Right.
And health recovery is greatly enhanced, and that would be good for an insurance company. So I've never really understood the whole financial relationship there, and why nutritional supplement, why medical insurance companies don't bend over backwards to support chiropractic and naturopathic and Ayurvedic. But nonetheless, they don't. So if they did, it would be a completely different world. And remember, in the medical model that we have existed in the last 100 years, a patient cured is a client lost. It's big money all the time. That's what's driving the medical marketplace. It's disease management. It's not healthcare. And so in order to support and promote your body's God-given ability to fix itself, you need omega-3 essential fats plus, wait for it, 89 other essential nutrients. Mm-hmm. And we have put all of those together for your purchasing ease in something called the Healthy Foundation Pack, which is available at your website.
Yeah. OperationFreedomHealth.com.
Everybody needs to get it. Everybody needs to slam these doors and kick these tires. And if you don't, I've said it a million times because it's true, so I'll say it again because it's true, because every time I say this, somewhere, someone listening finally gets it. Mm-hmm. The lights come on, mm-hmm. and they go to the website and they purchase the stuff. The simple fact of the matter is that the only reason that my profession continues to exist in such a hostile political climate / medical industrial complex climate is because more often than not, we get results.
That's right.
Why do we get results? Because we pay attention to natural law. It's like we're telling people, hey, everybody, guess what? The earth is round. It's not flat. Hey, everybody, guess what? The sun rises in the east. And hey, everybody, guess what? Gravity is a real thing. Hey, everybody, guess what? Batteries have a positive and a negative pole. Well, when you know these things mm-hmm. and apply these things, natural law, you get noteworthy results. And that's what happens when you supplement. Now, what we have seen omega-3 essential fats specifically be good for mm-hmm. are lung conditions, mm-hmm. skin conditions, blood sugar conditions, and inflammatory conditions in the joints. Mm-hmm. Now, omega-3s are essential nutrients, which means the body needs them globally, right? Mm-hmm. However, if you're suffering from a lung condition, if you're suffering from a skin condition, if you're suffering from a blood sugar issue, then you should supplement with extra omega-3 essential fats than what are found in the Healthy Foundation Pack. And so that would be either with one of two products, EFA or the EFA Plus product that's sold at the website, EFA or EFA Plus product that's sold at the website. We've had remarkable testimony mm-hmm. From all around the world with people. I was just talking to a patient like last week. She had psoriasis for 30 years. And it was so bad the medical doctors had no idea what to do for it, and they wanted to give her chemotherapy for the psoriasis. She did a medical nutrition program, and it went away in 14 days. 14 days. It went away. She'd had it for 30 years. Conventional medical doctors had no idea what to do. Why? Because they're not trained in any of this. They have no clinical experience in any of this. They don't read the research about any of this, and they've drunk the Kool-Aid, which incorrectly tells them there's no research to support any of this. That's just a lie. Like so many other lies that we've had to put up with over the last few years.
And it's very true. And so, Pete, folks will ask, well, wait a minute. So what are the components of this foundation pack? And, well, why can't I just go to the health food store and buy 90 different things and take them?
Well,
which brings us to
why.
right, 90 different things, but also because of the bioavailability of these products that I know you've said prior. It's these products, the way they're in their components, they're the most bioavailable entities that you're aware of, correct?
Yeah, and also you wouldn't be able to afford it if you if you shopped for all 90, and you wouldn't be able to swallow them.
No, right.
If you did that. I mean, you just couldn't swallow that many pills a day. You couldn't do it.
No.
So all of those variables, of course, were understood and taken into consideration when these products were formulated. And in the end thing, this is a very sophisticated industry that most people are completely unaware of.
That's right.
And, all wine is made from grapes. All whiskey is made from, wheat and rye, more or less. There's a big difference from bottle to bottle. Big difference. It's the same with nutritional supplements. Now, I've been doing this for coming up on 35 years in September. And I've had access to nutritional supplements that you can't get as a layperson. You can only get them as a doctor. I used to work for one of those companies, by the way, as a representative at trade shows, medical trade shows. I know the inside and out of the nutritional supplement manufacturing industry, and I could tell you stories. The point is that not all nutritional supplements are created equally. They're simply not. And in my clinical experience of 35 years, the nutritional supplements that deliver the most bang for the buck are the ones that we recommend at Operation Freedom Health. And that's why we recommend them. Because we have to supplement. That's a given. You can't get this stuff from food.
No.
So if you're going to supplement and you're going to pay hard-earned money out of your pocket, not insurance dollars, you might as well get the most bang for your buck, the best stuff that you can get. And that's why you should lean on me in my profession, because that's what we do for a living.
Right.
That's our skill set. We know the crap companies.
Right.
We know the middle-of-the-road companies. We know the excellent companies. And they all exist, quite frankly. And some of them have really good marketing, especially the ones that are crap or the middle of the road. It's remarkable to me how that works. But that's another conversation. So the stuff that we recommend, Healthy Foundation Pack, consists of 4 different things. One is a multivitamin, multi-mineral, probiotic, prebiotic, antioxidant powder called Beyond Tangy Tangerine. The next is a liquid calcium and magnesium supplement. It's got some other things in it as well called Beyond OsteoFX. The most absorbable calcium supplement on the market right now, which is a big deal when it comes to calcium. Plant-derived organic minerals, which deliver 66%, 2/3 of your body's nutritional needs in one bottle. I think it's like $25 for one bottle. It's unbelievably inexpensive. And fish oil, which delivers omega-3 and a little bit of omega-6. And that's it. And when you take this stuff into your body on a regular basis, it will be the first time in your life, the first time that your body has been completely nutrified. And that's a game changer. Because you have gotten used to, not you, Dave, but the people in the listening audience have gotten used to medical mediocrity. You've gotten used to walking around planet Earth in a completely undernutrified body.
No, but I was in that group.
Well, not anymore, but you were.
I was. And as you know, I was having hypertension issues. I was having arthritis issues, right? And you kept telling me, Dave, Dave, Dave. And I'm like, come on. And it got to the point where when they wanted to put me on, I don't know, it's the second prescription grade anti-inflammatory to go along with the Tylenol and the Advil. And I finally said, well, I'm going to do what Pete said, but I don't know. We'll see how this works. And within a month, I'm off everything.
It's
a month. Right. So, no, I was guilty of that. Pete, I was guilty of that.
Yeah. Well,
and it changed my life.
Yeah, and you had you were brave enough, if that's the word, open-minded enough, adventurous enough, understanding enough to give it a try. Mm-hmm. And see, this is what separates.
It's a paradigm shift. It's a different way. It's looking at the world differently.
And you can't argue with results.
No, you can't. No.
So all we have to do is get a foot in the door. We've got people, just try it.
Well, and here's the other thing, Pete. You mentioned this in your discussion, and you've mentioned this many times before, but it bears repeating. People say, well, I'm going to eat my way into health, that I'm gonna have a great organic garden. I'm only going to eat organic. I mean, these are going to be the best vegetables, the best fruits, the best, and I'll get all my nutritional support, the 90 essential, right through that. But Pete, you've pointed out 100 years ago, there was a study done by the Department of Agriculture presented to Congress that said 100 years ago, hey, our soil doesn't have the minerals, the vitamins, the nutrients that are needed to keep people healthy. 100 years ago. Am I off?
No, you're exactly correct. But that little nugget about the relationship between plants, the soil, and nutrients has been left out of the educational system on purpose.
It has. On purpose.
People have no idea.
No.
People think, organic, that's got to be good. If I just eat organic, my bases are covered.
Well, and I'm paying more. It's double, so it has to be better for me.
Yeah. Well, you're not getting Monsanto herbicides into your body, which is better for you.
Right.
But you're not filling up your nutritional tank, and you're just not doing it. You can't do it. Right. And, I mean, here's why, just to break it down real easy. Minerals, things like calcium and sulfur and zinc and selenium and phosphorus are 66%, 2/3 of the body's nutrient needs. That's a big deal. It's a big number. Mm-hmm. But plants can't make minerals. No. Animals can't make minerals. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The only way that minerals get into a plant or an animal is if they're in the soil or the water that the plant is growing in, and then the plant sucks the minerals up, and the animal eats the plant. Now there's minerals in the animal's body. We eat the animal, or we eat the plant. Bada bing, bada boom. You're happy, but the minerals have to be in the soil in the first place, and they're not.
That's right.
And this little educational nugget is completely left out of the educational system. So, people think they can do intermittent fasting, and that's going to be the key to health. People think they can do eat all organic, and that's going to be the key to I'm going to do the keto thing. That's going to be the key to my health. And well, there are benefits to those strategies, but you are still nutritionally deficient.
That's right.
You can be a healthy vegan. You can be a healthy vegetarian. You can be a healthy carnivore. But you have to supplement. It's mandatory. You have to do it. You have to drink water. Have to breathe air. Have to eat calories. You have to supplement.
Have to nutrify.
But that's been left out of the whole educational thing. And see, the problem here is that when people finally start to wake up, say, son of a gun, that makes sense. There is something going on here, and I need to investigate this more. People go to the internet and they find all of these knuckleheads who don't have any education, any clinical experience, but they got a lot of followers who are telling people incorrect information.
Right.
It's my profession, the naturopathic medical profession, that literally wrote the book on medical nutrition. And people should be leaning on my profession in order to educate themselves in this regard. But let's be honest. Most people don't even know how to pronounce naturopathy, let alone know what it takes to become a naturopathic doctor, what the training is like, what the licensing is like, what our clinical experience is like. They just don't know it. Why? Because currently in 2023, believe it or not, naturopathic medicine is only licensed and regulated in 22 states in the United States.
That's ridiculous.
And here we are. And that's why this series is so important, because there is nobody else on the public platform with our level of experience is talking about this. There's nobody else doing it. It's us. Mm-hmm. This is where the buck stops. Mm-hmm. And you know, it's like they said, like Doc Holliday said in you know, what was that movie? The OK wasn't the OK Corral. It was something like that. He said, "Well, I'm your Huckleberry, and that's just my game. That's just my game, medical nutrition. Mm-hmm. And that's, you should rely on good old Dr. Glidden and all of the people that have supported me in my education and all of the naturopathic luminaries who have gone before me." Mm-hmm. And doesn't matter what you understand, doesn't matter what your IQ is, doesn't matter how much research you do, doesn't matter what you do. The only thing that matters is you try this stuff out and see for yourself how it makes you feel.
Right. That's right.
The proof of the pudding's in the eating. We've been talking about this for 4 years now. If you're on the fence here, I don't know why you're still on the fence, but give yourself a break, for goodness sakes. Buy one Healthy Foundation pack. Try it for 8 weeks and tell me how you feel. And if you don't feel a noticeable difference somewhere in your body, mind, I'll eat my hat and I'll quit my job and I'll never do this again.
Pete, educate our listeners on your website, drglidden.com.
Yeah, so if you like the information that we talk about here, this is Dave and I are just skimming the surface here. I take a real deep dive into all things medical on my website. The information on my website is voluminous, and it's accessible through a really inexpensive monthly subscription. So if you are sick and tired of being sick and tired, if you are sick and tired of having the wool pulled over your eyes, if you're sick and tired of medical misdirection, if you're sick and tired of internet experts who don't have any clinical experience whatsoever, mm-hmm. then lean on me and the information that's available at my website, because that's exactly why I put the information on my website, to fill this gap in your education and to empower you with a little bit of knowledge, just a little bit. If this isn't, you don't have to have a doctoral degree to understand my information. If you're smart enough to pass the driver's license test, you're smart enough to learn the simple steps to take mm-hmm. to support your body's built-in God-given ability to fix itself. And I line that all up on the website. Become a subscriber today.
And we also have some information on OperationFreedomHealth.com. We have the products on OperationFreedomHealth.com. Dr. Glidden provided a video in the top right-hand side of the homepage on OperationFreedomHealth.com. It's free. It's about the 12 bad foods. Yeah. About essentially not putting diesel gasoline in your unleaded engine car, right? Yeah. It's an incredibly important video. And I don't know of another video that exists of that nature. Pete, I'd like to thank you for everything you have done, are doing, and will do. I'd like to thank you folks. And we hope that you'll take this video and our series and bring them to your family and friends, coworkers, neighbors, maybe even people you don't even know that well. Because there's nothing controversial about what we're telling you.
Right.
It's facts and data and science that the medical industrial complex does not want you to know about. It's that simple. Single most effective way to help others is to provide them honest information that will make a positive impact in their life. And that's what this does. Fact. I thank you for joining me today. Until next time, Dave Janda signing off. Dream big and dare to fail. Thanks for your time today.